Hello and welcome to Maximum Power Up. Here's another video from us. It's going to be another pickups video. I've managed to get hold of a few more things from the collection over the last week. So I just thought, rather than just waiting another week until a few more things are added, it's better to really break it down into two episodes really, videos. So I've managed to get my hands on a few magazines and a few games. As I said, there is more on the way, so hopefully within the next week I can get the next video up. Anyway, this is something that I've actually had for a few weeks now, this thing, but I forgot to put it in my last pickup video because I wasn't looking over at my Mega Drive games at the time. I spent so much time concentrating on the SNES and N64 side. But a game that I absolutely used to love on the Amiga and ST, it is James Bond 2 Robocod. Great platform game. I think I paid about £5 for it with postage. So again, it's got complete with instructions as well. Just having a quick look at that there. Just pop that back in. Some of these manuals just come loose so easily. So I do need to have a go at this. I've not played it for a very long time. I absolutely used to love it. Still remember the cheat for invincibility, because right at the start of the game, if you climb up to, well, on top of one of the buildings and pick up these certain items, like cake and then hammer, so that obviously spelling out the word cheat, it just gives you obviously the invincibility, which it makes it obviously far too easy, but you know, it's there as an option. Anyway, the other thing I picked up to try and complete my Super Nintendo collection a little bit more is the manual for Rock'n'Roll Racing. I recently mentioned this in one of my other videos, looking at my favourite Super Nintendo games. So now I can put them together and I've got a complete set, which is something I'm really happy about. Because even though we don't really need the manual for Rock'n'Roll Racing, I am trying to get as many games complete as possible. While on Super Nintendo, a game that I have recently added, it does get quickly mentioned in episode 2 of the podcast that's recorded and hopefully should be up within the next week, and it is Soul Blazer. Quite a rare RPG because of the limited PAL release, and it wasn't like a UK PAL release, so it is the NTSC version. It did cost quite a bit, well, what I think is quite a bit, which was just over £50, but the cartridge is still in its bag, which is something. The instructions aren't really in that bad condition, but obviously the box is fairly battered. As you can see, I've opened it that side because one of the flaps is almost coming off on the other side. So, you know, it's something that I'll probably trade up eventually on, but to get a PAL version can, you know, cost a couple of £100 definitely, and at the moment I've just not got the money to justify spending so much on one game. So that was on my Superplay Top 100 games that I've been aiming to get hold of. So finally glad that I've got this. I have owned it in the past, so it's just quickly grab that and so nice. Yeah, so basically these three now making up what is classed as, I think it was the Heaven and Earth trilogy, so really happy over that. So now my Illusion of Time, that is in good condition, not mint, but you know, it's probably like 7 out of 10. Soul Blazer, a little bit worn. Terranigma, not in, you know, amazing condition, but not bad either for the price I got it for, £40 I think it was. So yeah, I'm so happy then, you know, I've added Soul Blazer to that. Moving on, something a little bit more modern. Sticking on the game side first of all. As mentioned on episode 1 of the podcast, company Platinum Games. I listened to Phil, I've listened to Chris, who was in episode 1 with us. So I picked up a couple of cheap PS3 games, Bayonetta and Vanquish. Now, these are two that I've never ever played before, so at some point I will try and get around to them. Well, I've not heard anything bad about any of them, you know. When I've mentioned to people on Twitter and a few friends that I've picked up Vanquish, they were really impressed by the game when they played it, you know, back in the day when it came out. I say back in the day, it's really only a few years old. So I do want to get stuck into those and see what all the fuss is about. Now, wouldn't be a pickup video without some magazines. I'm not going to have an in-depth look due to the fact to try and just do an actual video for each magazine really, and there's a few here. Now, after completing like all the Superplay collection, I am trying to get hold of the first 55 issues of Nintendo magazine system. At the moment, I think I'm going to need about another 20, something like that, so they are building up. So we have issue 13 with Super Empire Strikes Back preview on it, and you got Jurassic Park and Super Street Fighter 2. Like I say, I'm not going to look into it too much really. One thing I've just got to point out is I love seeing these old adverts like that. Look as cool as these guys here, you know, Laddie and Automatic there, and it's just sort of sums up that 90s vibe. And back Jurassic Park. So also we've got issue 24, Mortal Kombat 2. That seems like so long ago now, obviously with the latest Mortal Kombat just being released. In there as well you've got things like a preview of Donkey Kong Country, review of Sparkster, news on Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter the movie, Batman the animated series. And at the time you still had, like, you know, a bit of Nintendo, well, original NES stuff in there. Obviously reviews had dried up, just like the odd tips and things. But again, looking back, you've got a massive guide for Super Metroid, obviously one of the biggest games around that time. Feature here, well, an advert here for the Jaguar at One Below's. Both of those way gone, you know. I just about remember One Below's. And then obviously you got your big review of Mortal Kombat 2, which they gave 94%. Quickly moving on. The other one, we have Super Return of the Jedi, the last part of the trilogy, well, for Super Nintendo anyway. Again, competition to win Mortal Kombat 2, arcade machine, Samurai Showdown, Earthworm Jim, Guild Patrol, which was sort of semi-sequel to Zombies Ate My Neighbours, which I couldn't really get into, nowhere near as much. You've also got advert there for Desert Strike, coming out obviously on the Game Boy, and then the last magazine is from, I think, February 95 roughly, so yeah, it's a Super BC Kid. Also review of Uni Rally, Wario Blast, Kid Clan Crazy Chase, Illusion of Time that I just briefly showed. So it's quite good. One thing that I did just jump out is Ocean's 1995 Super Nintendo lineup. So we've got Theme Park, Turrican 2, Pocky and Rocky 2, which is obviously rare. Game called Mr. Tough, something I've never actually played before. And really, that's it. I mean, there are more magazines that I'm looking at adding, like say, quick advert there for a few Konami games, some great games there. Again, the Adventures of Batman and Robin that has been mentioned by me before, which I'm terrible at. And yeah, that's everything. Like I say, I'll do another pickups video as soon as the next few things come through the door, and hopefully, you know, it's something you enjoy seeing, and it's not just me sat here babbling on. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.